Tomorrow, former President Trump is rallying voters in Butler, Pennsylvania for the first time since the July 13th assassination attempt. And Lara Trump joins us now. Good morning to you, Lara.
Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning. Why was it important for him to do this?
Well, listen, Ainsley, I don't think any American will forget where you were on July 13th, 2024 at 6:11 p.m. That's a moment we will all remember. And obviously, this was important for Donald Trump to go back to Butler, Pennsylvania, not just for the people there in Butler, which, of course, he's got this bond with forever, I believe, but really for the country as a whole. We need a moment of healing, and he wants to create new positive memories and associations with Butler, Pennsylvania. And I think that's what you're going to see tomorrow. You know, in life, I feel like you can operate out of a place of fear and cowardice, or you can operate out of a place of strength and faith. And that is who Donald Trump is. I knew before he even announced he wanted to go back to Butler that this would be something that he would want to do, because he is trying to show leadership right now. And this is a man, Ainsley, I know that you know this. I don't have to even tell the audience this. This is a man who is not afraid of anything. He doesn't back away from a challenge. And what you're going to see in Butler, Pennsylvania tomorrow is the kind of strength and leadership we are desperate for back in that White House. And I think this is going to be an emotional rally tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to being there with Eric. And I think it's going to be really, really incredible.
That's great. I know Elon Musk has announced that he's going to be there, and they're going to honor the memory of Corey Compenter and the two others that were injured, which I thought was beautiful. So, Lara, you're from North Carolina. We're talking to our friends there. We're interviewing so many people. It's just, it's so sad. All these houses are gone. Lives have been taken away from families. And the former president is going to go there, North Carolina and Georgia today, Donald Trump. What do you make of this disaster relief help? They're saying they feel forgotten.
I got to tell you, Ainsley, you're right. This is my home state. I don't even have the words to describe what I have been hearing from people who live in the western part of the state. I have to tell you, I think what we're going to find out is far worse than anything that's been reported. I'm hearing from people that the local authorities are no longer trying to go house to house to just bring water to people. They're going house to house to bring body bags, that there's an overwhelming smell of corpses rotting right now in the western part of the state. People have been left behind, and disgraceful does not begin to describe what we have seen in the western part of North Carolina. I am hopeful that our authorities across the board are paying attention to this. Our federal response has been abysmal, and it is absolutely disgraceful that in the United States of America, we have Americans dying, not because of a natural disaster, but because of a man-made disaster of relief efforts. There is a lack of that there. And as a former North Carolinian myself in a place I call home, I cannot tell you how upset I personally am to see what's going on there.
I'm so sorry, Lara. I've been fighting something in my throat over the last few days. I know, and I'm so sorry about those people in North Carolina. God bless you. I'm going to get some tea. We'll be back in a minute. Steve is having breakfast with friends.